And let's take it to Zola Sholwana, following up on that story. Zola, as you are putting the pieces together of what deplorable conditions really entail, put us in the picture.
Well, Thabo, residents that live at Khutsong hostel do not have electricity to basic services such as reliable water supply and electricity. Now, earlier on when we were there speaking to residents about their inhumane conditions, they did mention that they are relying on illegal connections. There were cables that were running on the ground, and some were running just above my head. And that obviously, poses a lot of threat to children, in fact, everyone that lives there, because it means that they could potentially find themselves in danger. Now, we know that many of the residents were claiming that the municipality had promised to relocate them to Extension 8. Now, we are joined by the spokesperson of the Merafong Municipality to give us answers, Thabo, to all the questions that were asked by residents earlier on. Thabo, thank you very much for your time. The first question is, why haven't those people been relocated? Because many of them are claiming that they were promised by the municipality that they will be relocated to a new development.
Thank you, Zola and Newzroom Afrika, and to your viewers. We must say that this hostel situation is troubling us as the municipality. There's a whole lot of problems with the hostel, but I think we must give context. So the people who are in the hostel registered in the municipality, they were reallocated in 2019. The hostel was evacuated in 2019. Unfortunately, during that period, because people were taken to a whole lot of developments, Elijah Bahai as well as Khutsong Extension 6 at the time. And these are people who qualify, because not everybody qualifies to be given RDP houses. Unfortunately, there are people who also did not qualify because they are not South Africans. Two, others could be any at the threshold that it does not make them to qualify to be that site. So those who qualified were moved. Those who did not qualify, unfortunately, some of them literally moved to the nearby informal settlement of New Mandela. Following that process, people then illegally occupied the hostel, because there was supposed to be a demolition process that then unfolded after evacuation. Following that process, the people then illegally came back to the hostel, and that is where the problem has been. The leadership had to remove them. But if you recall, in 2019, 2020, we were dealing with COVID. There was a national disaster declared, and the leadership took a decision that they will deal with this thing post a national disaster, because it would have been inhuman really to evict people who had illegally occupied their hostel at the time during a state of national disaster. Unfortunately, that process did not ensue, and I think the municipality currently, working with the provincial government, are in conversation about how to handle that, because you must go to court to get an eviction order if you were to remove people. And but before you do that, you must engage people, so that, because there are people who could be qualifying to be in the RDP houses currently, as we're talking, but they are not getting them. And those people, that is what I'm saying, the first process is to engage them and say, who are those who qualify to be in RDP houses? And those who don't qualify, unfortunately, government works with the rules. You have to follow the rules in terms of those who don't qualify.
And of course, you did mention that the reason why this reallocation process, or many people were not moved from the structure to perhaps, houses, or because you said they were evacuated, was because of COVID. Now, it's been years later. There seems to be no movement from the municipality. And this is what is being said by residents to say, what do we do now? And if it's a thing of they're not going to be moved or evacuated there, what happens now in terms of providing them with services? Is there a plan to perhaps provide them with basic services as communities that are nearby are affected by the hostel being there? Because you'd understand that they're connecting themselves illegally to nearby communities.
No, quite correct. That thing is creating tensions in the community, especially with respect to the electricity. Maybe let me give context also with that part. So there are places that are ESCOM service and municipal service in the municipality. Hostel is ESCOM service. So ESCOM took a decision that because of there was no payment at all, previously with hostel, but also because hostel was declared that it must be demolished. So Eskom took a decision to cut off electricity during that process. And there's also a sinkhole that formed closer to the hostel, which affects the sanitation which goes to the hostels. There is also a water reservoir behind the hostel, which was being vandalized. So there are challenges of also infrastructure vandalization in the municipality, which also impact in the hostel. The municipality has been providing JoJo tanks. They get vandalized as well. So it's some of those mixed problems that we are having to say municipality has a responsibility constitutionally to provide basic services through the where people are living in informal settlement and so forth and so on. However, in terms of that is what I'm saying, temporary measures were put in place, JoJo tanks to bring water, and engagement with Eskom to say, but how do we then deal with this a challenge temporarily? Because the municipality is not the one that is providing electricity to hostel, because like we are saying, people are now connecting illegally to the nearby places. But the municipality has done is continue to engage the people and find a lasting solution. And a lasting solution really is to evacuate people in the hostel, demolish the hostel, because it has been declared that it's inhumane. You can't keep people there given the conditions of that hostel.
Thank you very much, Thabo, spokesperson for Merafong local municipality, telling us about Khutsong hostel, where residents have been claiming to be neglected by government, where they say they don't have access to basic services. He is saying that they were not even supposed to be there from the first place. But conversations are currently happening between the municipality and, of course, the relevant parties to ensure, or rather to find a way forward, because I can tell you this, Thabo, those residents do not believe that they are not supposed to be occupants. Some of them claim that they've been there for 30 years and they actually feel like the municipality needs to assist them. Or if they remove them from those homes, then they should at least give them, proper houses such as RDP houses. For now, back to you in studio.